Welcome to Revolutionary Motion, where we show you tennis from a different perspective. Today we're going to take a look at what actually makes a tennis serve fast, or what creates a lot of power on your tennis serve. But before we dive into that, let's take a look at the leg drive, because we've seen a lot of questions of people asking how the leg drive actually increases power output on your serve. And so let's answer that first. Does the leg drive add power to your serve? And the answer is yes and no. It adds a tiny bit of power, but not in the conventional way that you might think. So a higher jump or a further jump will not increase your power output, to get that out of the way. Obviously, when you are jumping, you're adding a tiny bit of power to your serve because you have a little bit more forward movement as long as you jump into the court. However, that forward movement is very slow because, as you can imagine, if you're jumping off of your legs from standing still, you're not going to jump at 10, 15, 20 miles an hour. You're maybe going to jump at less than 5 miles an hour. So that means that those less than 5 miles an hour will also slow down towards the contact point because of air friction and so on. So you're probably going to add between 1 and 3 miles an hour to your serve with your jump in general. Now, what other way could the leg drive use to increase the power output? And that's the interesting part here. It is not actually about how high you jump in this regard. It is more about if your energy from your legs gets pushed in the right direction. If you are using your leg drive in order to increase the tension in your body when pushing up, that's when you're increasing the power output. Now that's a very difficult movement, and once you master it, you don't really have much more room for improvement in that regard. So there's no room for improvement in jumping, faster in that regard, okay? If you're looking at the height of your jump overall, the only way this could potentially increase the power output is because if you're doing everything else correctly, you gain a little bit more height in your contact point, which then means that now you had more tension in your body and you're able to create that power going forward into the shot. Now let's take a look at the other pieces of the body that actually create a higher power output much more conveniently. Number one is flexibility in your body. How does that increase your power output? If you have more flexibility, you will be able to store more tension in your body before you release it, which then means higher tension results in a higher snap or a higher power release into the shot, which then creates more power or a faster serve. The next thing is explosive strength. If you are really explosive and you're really strong, you will be able to use your upper body rotation quicker, which then results in a higher power output, again, and a faster serve. Now the most important thing, and we mentioned it multiple times in this video already, is tension. If you're able to create more tension in your body by twisting yourself a lot and use the kinetic chain correctly, which means you're not starting by pushing your arm forward, but you're rather rotating your upper body while pushing your lower body upward, you will be able to create more tension in your body all the way across, pretty much from your left toe all the way to your right hand, which is connected to the racket, obviously. The more tension you can create, the more power you will produce in your serves. So as you can see, all of it boils down to upper body rotation and the correct implement of your leg movement going upwards. So in the contact point, you're actually completely straight, just slightly tilted forward, obviously, so you get a contact point that's a bit closer to the net and as high as possible. And if you manage to do that, you will see that your power output will be almost maximized. Now here in this slow-mo, we can see how my body is slowly preparing to get into the trophy position by twisting the upper body against the lower body as much as possible and bending the knees at the same time. And here, when we reach the trophy position, we can see how far I'm bent into the court, creating tension, which then releases into the contact point, and we can again see how my body is straight and tilted forward, as I just explained a minute ago. In conclusion, if you manage to do the following 4 things every day in your practice, you should be able to maximize your power output on your tennis serve. And those 4 things are: number 1, work on your body's flexibility. Yoga would really help with that. Number 2, work on explosive strength. Go to the gym, work with cable machines, work on rotational speed. Try to get to the point of being faster while using a lot of strength. Number 3, create a body mechanic that uses the whole body's tension to the limit in order to create a high contact point, as high as possible, with a straight body slightly tilted forward, so you can actually maximize the power output with the longest and biggest leverage. And number 4, work on your leg drive in order to maximize the, again, height of your contact point with a straight body in the contact point, because your legs are pushing in the right direction and enable you to recreate this straight figure of the body during the contact point.
Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.